Welcome to our Crypto News in 10, a daily podcast bringing you the latest news about crypto in under 10 minutes. It's Thursday, April 23rd, 2026. Here's your quick run-through of 5 crypto stories for your commute. First, a notable public-private partnership in Korea. TOS, the country's leading fintech app, signed an MOU with the Korea Mint to build blockchain-based payments, including pilots for deposit tokens and stablecoins. Second, eyes on the open network. Toncoin unlocks roughly 0.72% of supply this afternoon UTC, which could add short-term volatility. Third, it's the final day to withdraw assets from Nifty Gateway, with the platform shifting metadata to Arweave to preserve on-chain function. Fourth, CoinDesk Indices will set weighting adjustment factors for its memecoin index today ahead of the May reconstitution. Small mechanics that can matter for funds and quants tracking meme exposure. And fifth, Hong Kong's Web3 festival closes with an on-chain finance summit. As the HKMA's new stablecoin regime moves from paper to pilots, HSBC has already flagged plans for an HKD stablecoin this year. Let's unpack it all. Story 1. Korea leans into tokenized payments. Viva Republica, operator of the TOS app, signed a strategic MOU with the Korea Minting and Security Printing Corporation, the Korea Mint, to connect public payment rails with private fintech via blockchain. The partners say they'll test token-based instruments, think deposit tokens and stablecoins, and link existing local currency programs to improve everyday convenience. With TOS counting tens of millions of users and the Mint powering local government payment schemes, this is a real distribution channel for on-chain payments, not just a lab project. Near term, they're aiming for pilots that validate real-world usability. Longer term, the promise is interoperable digital cash inside everyday apps. Source: ajupress.com. Story 2. Mark your calendar for 2:30 p.m. UTC. Toncoin unlocks about 0.72% of total supply today in a scheduled vesting event. Unlocks aren't inherently bearish, but they do add supply in a tight window, and some recipients may take liquidity. Traders will watch spot order books and funding rates for clues, especially if liquidity thins into the event. If you're positioned around TON, think about your hedge and your time horizon. Unlocks often spark a knee-jerk move. Then price re-anchors to fundamentals like user growth and fees across Telegram-linked apps in the TON ecosystem. Source: coinmarketcal.com. Story 3. Deadline day at Nifty Gateway. The Gemini-owned NFT platform, once central to the 2020 to 2021 art boom, is closing and gave users until today, April 23rd, to withdraw assets after flipping to withdrawal-only mode earlier this year. To help preserve functionality, Nifty Gateway is migrating metadata and media hosting to Arweave so minted pieces continue working, even as the custodial platform sunsets. If you still have work parked there, move it. The company says it will keep working with stragglers, but you don't want to rely on grace periods. The bigger lesson remains. Custody and metadata permanence matter as much as floor prices. Source: decrypt.co. Before we continue, here's a message from our sponsors.
Need elite developers fast? Elite Coders connects you with rigorously vetted senior engineers in 24 to 48 hours. Staff augmentation, dedicated teams, or full project delivery. We've got you covered. Visit elitecoders.co to get started today.
All right, let's get back to it. Story 4. Index plumbing day for the memecoin trade. CoinDesk Indices memecoin index finalized its May adds and deletes last week, and today it sets the weighting adjustment factors, WAFs, that determine each constituent's target weight at month end. Why care? Because funds and structured products that benchmark to this index often pre-position to those WAFs, and that flow can nudge liquidity across smaller caps. The May slate includes additions like Doggle on Mars and SNEC, with deletions such as memecoin and Dogs. Final weights get locked at 4 p.m. Eastern on April 30th. If you track meme baskets, today's WAF marks are the breadcrumb, before the actual rebalance prints next week. Source: downloads.coindesk.com. Story 5. Hong Kong's Web3 festival wraps with a focused look at on-chain finance against a meaningful regulatory backdrop. Earlier this month, the HKMA granted the territory's first stablecoin issuer licenses, including one to HSBC, which plans an HKD-denominated stablecoin integrated into PayMe and the HSBC HK app in the second half of 2026. It's set to be fully backed by high-quality liquid assets and aimed at everyday peer-to-peer and merchant payments. It's a rare example of a global bank taking stablecoins straight to retail use cases, with tokenized investments also in scope, pending approvals. Today's on-chain finance summit on the festival's final day puts that policy shift into context, with sessions on infrastructure co-building and an ecosystem alliance geared toward real settlement. The through line is clear. Regulated fiat-referenced coins are moving from pilots to production rails. Source: hkma.gov.hk. Quick market angle before we go. On ton, today's unlock is large enough to matter intraday, but small enough that broader risk appetite can absorb it, if derivatives positioning isn't lopsided. Watch for a volatility pop, then a reversion. For Hong Kong, keep an eye on HSBC's early merchant cohorts and PayMe integrations. Adoption metrics there will be a tell for mainstream stablecoin payments in a major financial hub. And for meme coins, if you're benchmarking, today's WAFs are the signal. The actual rebalance next week is often the tradable catalyst. That's your crypto in 10, a Korea payments pilot with serious scale, a closely watched TON unlock, one last call for nifty withdrawals, index mechanics that quietly move meme liquidity, and Hong Kong's stablecoin regime turning into product roadmaps. We'll be back tomorrow with the next 5. Thanks for listening, and see you tomorrow.